Warning. The Intercontinental Committee on Podcasting warns that listening to the Get the Fluff Out podcast may induce euphoric feelings of nostalgia, which may lead to complete and total ratitude.
The show starts in 3, 2, 1, go.
Fluff Out, get the fluff out.
Welcome to Get the Fluff Out. I'm Hollywood, along with your co-host, Dirty Jim. And thanks for joining us on our rockin' journey through the decades in our quest for the musical Holy Grail, creating the ultimate Gen X rockin' mixtape playlist. On each episode, we'll choose which songs from an album review that will make the cut to appear on the playlist. It's time to experience the soundtrack of our lives. All right, people, Get the Fluff Out is back, and Dirty Jim, right from the top, I got a little bit of bad news.
I love bad news.
Okay. Anyway, unfortunately, our producer, engineer Frank, he actually got into an accident.
Really?
Yeah, on his way here to the studio, he got into an accident while he was riding his Vespa.
Nice.
And so he's
not
here.
Not nice.
He's here. He's okay, but he's got a couple bruises, a little road rash on his arms and knees. But thankfully he's okay. But yeah, bummer that he took a dive on his Vespa. I started smiling a little bit when he said Vespa.
Yeah, I know. I feel like laughing, but I'm not going to. But I'm glad he's okay.
Yeah. I mean, Vespas are really cool. I mean, it's a cool little retro kind of scooter. It's actually kind of very, a lot of fashion here in LA to drive a Vespa.
Yeah, maybe there in LA.
But yeah, you try to take a Vespa up against a Harley Davidson. It's quite different.
Well, in California, you guys are paying like $50 a gallon of gas now.
Yeah, exactly. Somewhere like that.
And Vespas get like 80 miles to the gallon.
Exactly. So it's a good value to have a Vespa.
Yeah. And you guys, you could call it whatever you want. In fashion. Oh, wow, look at that guy on his Vespa. No one ever really thinks it's cool.
Especially if you have the white tennis shorts and the white loafers, the penny loafer sneakers, whatever.
You could be wearing the most expensive clothing out there, still not cool.
Dude. Okay, man. So, sorry, Frank, about that, but hope you heal up pretty well there. And Dirty Jim, what's going on with you?
Not much. I was going to say one quick thing, if you don't mind.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say that, doing these podcast episodes and, going back and forth, I notice how many times that the people who listen to these episodes can call each one of us out on our crap, because I'm always saying I like a good flow, and then Blind Melon comes along. Right. And you complain sometimes about repetition, like constant repetition. But right. I notice that when you really like a band, you're a bit more forgiving. When
a little bit more forgiving.
Yeah. Like if you go back to the Scorpions, there was a lot of repetition at the end of some of those songs. Kind of like the AC/DC albums that we've done in the past. But I noticed that when it's a band you like, you're a little more forgiving. But when it's a band that it's like, I like them, but maybe they're not my favorite band, you totally just dismiss them as Vespas, really. But do you notice that though? Like, I mean, so many times I'm thinking, wow, someone could really call me out on that.
Come on. I mean, all of it is really subjective. I mean, we like what we like. We don't like what we don't like. I mean, it may hit our ears a certain way on one day, and then the next day it's like, I actually kind of like that song. Maybe I should have been so harsh.
Yeah, like I know a guy that I used to work with, and he would start explaining something and we'd be like, no, you're wrong. And even he knows at this point he's wrong, but he just can't stop talking.
Oh, brother.
But anyway, enough about that. I just want people out there to know that we know that we're full of crap sometimes. But sometimes songs just hit us differently, even if they don't have a good flow or they're repeating over and over and over, like my friend Hollywood does not like. But what do we got? What do we got going for this episode number 10 of the GTFO podcast?
All right, so on this episode, we're going to be reviewing the self-titled debut album by Skid Row. Now, this album came out, released on January 24th, 1989. And the background on the band is Skid Row. They formed back in 1986 in Toms River, New Jersey. And we have what's considered the classic lineup for Skid Row. On lead vocals, Sebastian Bach. On guitar and backing vocals, Dave the Snake Sabo. On guitar, Scotty Hill and backing vocals. And Rachel Bolan on bass and backing vocals. And Rob Affuso on drums. And so that's the information on the album and band members. Dirty Jim, go ahead with some album notes.
This album actually came at a time when I was kind of done accepting new 80s bands into my life, because this was 1989, kind of the same thing as Cinderella. They came towards the end of the 80s. Mm-hmm. So I didn't really give Skid Row much of a chance back then. I kept listening to the bands I was listening to and then jumped into the 90s bands. But I really didn't give these end of the 80s, early 90s, 80s sounding bands a chance. But this album was huge. It went 5 times platinum, which is 5 million plus sold. And on the US Billboard 200, this hit number 6. In New Zealand, it hit number 1. In Canada, number 11. In Australia, it hit number 12. And I read this on Wikipedia that Sebastian Bach was introduced to Skid Row by John Bon Jovi's parents after they saw him sing at a wedding. Is this true? I mean, is it just someone wrote this, or is this absolute true?
I have no idea about that background. It sounds true enough, but yeah, that would have been that's pretty wild if that's how they found him.
Do you think they came home? No, John, you gotta hear this guy.
This kid, this skinny little kid.
He goes by the name Sebastian. But anyway.
Actually, he's not little. The guy was like 6'3", but he looked like a bean. I mean, he was so skinny back then. Crazy.
A lot of hair.
A lot of long, straight blonde hair, skinny as a rail.
Are you ready to get into this breakdown?
All right, man. Let's do it.
All right. Let's start with, I guess the beginning. Track number 1. Big Guns. Okay, Big Guns. This is the first song of the album, and this song is just persistent rock. At times, it's a melodious assault, but at all times during this song, it's just satisfying ear therapy. Earapy, if you will. But yeah, it is a prime cut for me. Awesome song.
All right, so for me, Big Guns. Now, this track has a classic heavy guitar riff with lyrics that has 1980s sleaze, heavy glam written all over it. And as I read through the lyrics of this track, Dirty Jim, I couldn't help but think that this would have been a perfect song for the segment that we used to do on our other podcast, Lipstick and Leather, called Rewrite Rock. Now, on that segment, Dirty Jim, do you remember our character names for that segment?
Oh, wait. You were Sweet William?
No.
What were you?
I was William Good Guy.
William Good Guy.
And what was yours? You couldn't even say it.
Sweet was I Sweet James? What was I?
No, you were Squeaky Clean James.
Oh, yes. That first episode was really tough on me.
Oh, dude, you couldn't even say. You were laughing so hard. So
I was laughing so hard I was snotting.
Dude, It was so funny. I think it's worthy of playing just a little bit of a flashback clip from that episode. So hold on, guys. Just listen to this just opening of this episode. This goes back to Lipstick and Leather from the Judas Priest Point of Entry episode. So give it a listen.
We know it offends you, heck yes we agree. We're gonna change it for you and do it for free. Rewrite Rock.
Welcome to another edition of Rewrite Rock. We are your co-hosts, William Goodguy.
I can't say it. Hold on. Hold on.
Okay.
You're going to have to do a lot of editing here.
I know.
Okay. I'm crying. I'm crying
That little.
Oh, no, because I know I'm going to have to say my name and I can't. Oh. Can you
say your name?
Can you introduce me?
Okay, let's stop for a second. Right. I'm going to introduce us both. Okay? Yep. Here we go. We are your hosts, William Goodguy. Stop it! Okay, here we go. Cut.
Wow.
Here we go.
This must have been what it was like filming The Office.
Okay, here we go. Sibilance. Bulbous walrus. Here we go. Hush. Okay, here we go. Dude, what are you doing to me, man? You got me thinking about it now. It's in my head.
I can't get past it.
Okay, here we go. Okay, I'm gonna do it. Here we go. We are your How long is it going to take to do this?
I don't care.
Segment?
It's going to be a funny freaking segment.
Okay, here we go. There we go. We're going to do it. We are your co-hosts, William Goodguy and Squeaky Clean James. How are you feeling today, James?
William?
Oh my God.
It doesn't seem as funny now to me. Like I don't have snot on my shirt, but it's it's ridiculous.
I listened back and I'm like, he just couldn't say it.
I couldn't get it out.
Oh man. Anyway, Big Guns. Awesome song. To me, it's a prime cut. Make the ultimate Gen X rocket mixtape playlist. Let's move to track 2.
Hollywood, track 2 is yours, Sweet Little Sister.
Okay, so Sweet Little Sister. So we hear 2 strikes of a cowbell and then a triplet drum pattern starting the song. And it leads right into another heavy guitar progression with Snake Sabo and Scotty Hill playing different guitar parts that kind of nicely complement each other. The song to me has a good flow. I like the pre-chorus and the chorus. And then Sebastian Bach's vocals are really good. To me, it's worthy of a prime cut and making the playlist.
All right. Now, this Sweet Little Sister, I would have probably liked to know this young lady back in the day. She sounds like she lived in the fast lane, but obviously that was about 33 long years ago, and she's probably already had at least maybe 1 hip replacement by now.
Maybe a little long in the tooth right now.
But Sweet Little Sister is a hard-hitting 3 minutes and 10 seconds. I love the line of the album where he says, and I'm not even going to attempt to sing it, but she's got her hands in the cookie jar, smiling like an alligator.
I know.
I love that because all I could picture is, you know how when a young kid is like reaching for something they know they're not supposed to touch and they're looking at you the whole time and they've got that evil grin and you're saying no. And that's kind of my nephew Joey, when he was little, he used to kind of have this big grin. Like when you would say smile for the camera, he would put on this huge grin, so ridiculous. And it's weird though, now that he's in his 30s, that I still call him Little Joey. He's 30 something with 2 kids now, and he has a son that I call Littler Joey.
Littler Joey?
Yeah. But that's just whenever I hear this part, I just think of that big smile on his face when he was just a little wee boy. But anyway, Sweet Little Sister is a great song, and obviously the second straight prime cut for me, but it was staring me right in the face this whole time. I'm trying to find the song that I love most on this album, and this is it. This is my Sebastian Philip Bierk, stop overdoing the vibrato when you're singing live, hit of the album.
It's your favorite song, and at the same time, you're taking a shot at Sebastian Bach.
You know what? I hear him live, and I love his voice. He's got a great voice. But sometimes I'm like, oh, man, cut that vibrato off just a little sooner.
Right. And concert, and I've seen him, last time I saw him concert was maybe about 9 years ago, 10 years ago. Obviously, it was a solo show. And yeah, he was doing it back then. I mean,
I think he does it even more now.
Oh yeah, he absolutely does it more now. Back then it was a little more controlled.
Right.
But now he's all over the place with the vibrato.
Just wants to. We all know he's got a great voice. But anyway, let's move on down to track number 3. Can't Stand the Heartache. Now, so far, before we get into track number 3, so far, everything is coming to the playlist. So let's see what happens with track number 3, Can't Stand the Heartache. To me, Can't Stand the Heartache is the glammiest sounding song on this album. But it's a solid, upper tempo, non-stop rocker. It sounds like something that Poison would do, but a little heavier.
Right.
Maybe like, what's the song by love the song Ride the Wind by Poison, but it's kind of in that category for me. Mm-hmm. Now, when I say glam, this is nothing close to a put down, because I am a fan of the glam, and I'm a fan of this song. It is a solid prime cut for me.
Okay, so Can't Stand the Heartache. So right away, the song starts with gang vocals, where the whole band is singing the title of the song, leading right into a basic heavy metal riff. And this song to me is just like you say. It's the most poppy sounding glam song of the album, but in a good way.
Yeah.
And so far, the first 3 songs I've noticed all have gang vocals in the chorus. Now, I'm not talking about gang vocals like from West Side Story. You know, the musical, boy, crazy boy, get cool, boy.
Yeah.
Gotta rock
it's
it
nothing
in your
like
pocket. That. Keep coolly cool, boy. No.
That's that's almost too much.
it was too much. But anyway, the gang vocals, I mean, obviously for people who don't understand that, it's basically the whole band just shouts out a portion of the chorus together, and they're not singing in harmonies or anything like that. They're just shouting out. But to me, this is a really good song. It has a cool guitar solo, and then the song even just fades out as the band sings the chorus. So I dig it. It's also a prime cut, making the ultimate Gen X rockin' mixtape playlist.
What I love about this podcast is Frank could cut out certain parts of this album, and perhaps he'll cut out whatever you started singing from West Side Story. But let's move on down to track number 4, Piece of Me.
Okay, so Piece of Me. Now, the bass line by Rachel Bolan takes center stage for this heavy up-tempo rocker. I love the guitar riff. It's a very cool riff. And at only 2 minutes and 48 seconds, To me, this is a quick headbanger, in and out and done. To me, prime cut, making the playlist.
Just like you said about the bass, the bassy beginning of this kind of makes me feel like I'm cruising around Gotham City in the Batmobile. But it's a fast moving, busy song. There's a lot to it. And a 30-second clip is not going to do this song justice. You have to go listen to it. It needs to be heard to be fully appreciated. It's my fourth prime cut on this album. That's freaking crazy. And we both agree, right? Four prime cuts.
Yeah, both of us.
Here I am spitting out my words here, and they're all coming out wrong. Let's move down to track number 5, 18 and Life. So 18 in Life, track number 5, is the second single from this album, and it is the band's biggest hit. It reached number 4 on the U.S. Billboard 100, certified gold at 500,000 plus singles sold. That's a lot. That's crazy.
Yeah, just for that one song. And you got to remember, this is 1989, so selling that many singles, it was probably, do you remember the single?
Yeah, I do.
The single that just had one song on a cassette tape on one side and then just a B-side on the other side.
What a waste of space.
What a waste of plastic. A single.
Yeah. Even back then, we knew it was a waste of plastic.
Absolutely. I never bought that stuff. Let me just buy the whole album.
Exactly. It's ridiculous. Like, you're going to put this, next to the album whenever you have your stuff in alphabetical order? I mean,
yeah, total waste.
I never bought a single in my life.
Yeah, neither did I.
All right. So 18 in Life. This is a heavy, non-traditional ballad about poor little Ricky, who's doing time for accidentally shooting someone. Bach puts a lot of feeling into this one. And obviously, it's the band's biggest hit for a reason. It is another prime cut for me.
So, 18 in Life. Now, the 21-second intro really creates this moody platform for the song to grow. And I think the band did a great job with the intro and then all the musical pieces kind of fitting together nicely. It starts off almost like it's going to be a ballad with arpeggiated guitars, and of course, the song just punches you right in the head when the full distorted band kicks into this heavy mid-tempo grind fest. And again, Sebastian Bach's vocals are amazing on this song. I mean, his tone is clear yet powerful, and at the same time, it's gritty, especially at the end with those high-pitched gritty screams that he has. Oh my God, such a good song. Great melodic guitar solo. This is absolutely one of my favorite tracks on the record. It's a prime cut, making the playlist.
All right, tell me what you think about track number 6, Rattlesnake Shake.
So Rattlesnake Shake, to me, this song, it's similar to Big Guns in the lyric department because it's really cheesy. When you read through the lyrics, to me, it's not as good as Big Guns, but I like the song. I don't hate it. It's a decent song. It's not a prime cut, but to me, it's a deep cut.
You know what? I have almost the same exact stuff here, and it's close to a prime cut.
Absolutely was close to a prime cut.
But there is a little cheese to it. Boom, boom. It's just a little cheesy, but it's more of a deep cut for me with a little spunk.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a deep cut for me. So we have 5 straight prime cuts, and then track number 6 we both put as deep cut, and all 6 are making the Gen X blah 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 playlist.
Right.
All right. Let's move down to track number 7, Youth Gone Wild. Okay, Youth Gone Wild is the first single from the album. And it is kind of an anthem for the time. It's angry, it's nasty, and it rocks. This was a hit the first time I heard it back in 1989, and it's going to be a prime cut in 2022 on this GTFO GenX playlist. No matter what Hollywood says about it, it is a prime cut for Dirty Jim.
Okay, Youth Gone Wild. Now, one thing I can't stand about this song
How much you love it?
is that it's so good.
I feels like I've been there before.
Yeah. Deja vu? Was this deja vu?
We just Iron Maiden the hell out of that one.
We totally did. Yeah, I love this track. I mean, I really wish that you and I wrote Youth Gone Wild when we had our band back in the late 80s.
You know what? I would not have mind writing even cold cuts.
Dude, this is such a good song. I mean, the main riff is amazing. I really dig the subtle guitar chords underneath the verses. And then that chorus. I mean, they call us problem child. We spend our lives on trial. We walk an endless mile. We are the youth gone wild. Dude, awesome. I in concert, and here's one thing that I do regret back in the day. I actually never saw Skid Row in concert back then. So I never saw him singing with the band. Now, I have heard him in concert solo singing Youth Gone Wild, but not with the original Skid Row. So to me, it's an awesome song, great guitar solo. Sebastian Bach's voice is on fire. And when you see the video, oh my God, Sebastian has the best hair flips ever. I mean, he flips his hair perfectly to the beat of the song. I love it. I mean, to me, this is a prime cut all the way, and it's also my sleazy glam slam track of the album. It's a beautiful day at the park here in Toms River, New Jersey. Up next is Sebastian Bach from the Youth Gone Wild. It's going, gone. It's a glam slam.
I remember when I still had long hair and I was sitting in my car one day and I did a hair flip and I thought that I gave myself a concussion and I knew it was time to cut my hair.
Right.
But
a little whiplash.
Yeah, I swear it's like all of a sudden I'm like, whoa, was that my brain flipping around in my head? But
a little dizzy.
Let's move on down to track number 8, Here I Am.
Okay, so Here I Am. Now here we have a funky kind of grooving beat to this song. To me, it has a decent sing-along chorus. But it's, as I was listening to the song, it almost sounded just like just a filler track to me. Like they didn't really give it enough to it. So I like it, the song, but it's just, again, kind of filler. It's not worthy of a fluffy cut to me, but I'm putting it as a deep cut. But let's see if Dirty Jim sends it off to the fluffy wasteland.
Well, little spoiler alert, it's coming. But Here I Am. This song to me is like the Energizer Bunny. It just keeps going and going and going. Nothing, kind of like what you said, nothing stands out over anything else with this one. But everything together just works to make it a rocking work of art. I love it. It's a prime cut for me.
Oh, wow. Okay, so you love it that much. Okay,
I
cool.
do. I thought it was great, and I listened to it over and over, and I probably did it one time, think it was, you know what, this is a deep cut, but as I heard it more and more, I'm like, this is a really good song. And that is 8 straight songs that are making the playlist.
Wow, all right.
Let's get down to track number 9, Making a Mess. So track number 9, Making a Mess, it starts out with that live version of Green Menalishi, the oh yeah part.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, this is interesting. And I don't know how during this song that Sebastian Bach gets all of the words out. This song is equivalent of going 90 in a 45. It's 3 minutes and 38 seconds, but it feels more like a minute and a half. It's just a fast-moving song. It's got a great sound. And did I mention that it's fast?
Yes, you did.
But my ears actually kind of needed a nappy poo after listening to it.
Nappy poo.
Yeah, a little nappy poo. But now the judge might have let you off easy if you went in and tried to use this song as an excuse while you were appealing your speeding ticket. But at the very least, you might create a few more Skid Row fans in the courtroom. With this song, me and the jury have reached a decision, and it is yet another prime cut for me.
Wow, Dirty Jim is really enjoying the self-titled debut by Skid Row.
And I enjoyed everything except for track number 6, which was...
Now, this was your first time hearing it all the way through, or you heard every single song in the past?
No, I have heard this album before, but I have not listened to it as much as I did in the last 2 weeks.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And the only song so far that I did a deep cut was Rattlesnake Shake, but all of the other ones, I absolutely loved them. And I didn't hate Rattlesnake Shake at all. I just thought that there was a little cheese to it.
Yeah. Okay, so for me, Making a Mess. Now, if we are hanging out at some backyard barbecue party and people are having fun, having a few drinks, some people are doing cannonballs in the pool, and music is playing on in the background, and we just heard a couple tracks from, let's say, The Doors or The Grateful Dead, and then all of a sudden, Making a Mess comes on next. Man, it's going to slam people.
I don't know if it's going to slam people. And, back when you were talking about the pool, I hope they're just doing cannonballs and they're not diving, Hollywood.
Right, because that would be dangerous.
Yeah, but because, it's probably 5 foot or less. But
No,
continue.
it's not.
Continue. The pool, there's no diving. Cannonballs are acceptable. But try to keep the water in the pool. Tell us about what Making a Mess is going to do to the fans.
Okay. So the point I'm trying to make is that you have a mix of songs from different eras, and then Making a Mess comes on. It's a heavier song, obviously, than the Grateful Dead or the Doors would be playing.
That's a fact.
So to me, it's a heavy rockin' song, and that people wouldn't mind. Obviously, they really wouldn't know the song because this is a track that they never heard on the radio. I dig the song. It's not really prime cut worthy for me, but it is a high deep cut, grade A deep cut, and it's still making the playlist.
Can I get you to say it's a grade A plus deep cut?
A grade A plus deep cut.
All right, let's get to track 10, I Remember You.
Okay, so I Remember You. So now, the second to the last track on the album here contains one of Skid Row's biggest hits, which is the power ballad of the album. And to me, what a freaking amazing song this is. Not only is the music super cool, there's the back and forth of the strumming acoustic guitars, leading into heavy distorted metal guitars, but it also has these sensitive relationship type lyrics. And then, of course, Sebastian Bach's voice provides jaw-dropping fireworks. Yeah, I said it. Fireworks.
Baby, he's a firework.
Wrong one.
Oh, sorry.
Was that Katy Perry?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure you're listening to that on your other podcast that you do.
Exactly. We just reviewed that album.
Now, especially at the end of the song, from 4 minutes and 30 seconds to 4 minutes and 45 seconds, those 15 seconds, to me, provide one of the best hair-raising metal scream crescendos ever. It's right up there with Rob Halford, Jeff Tate, Bruce Dickinson. If you listen at that moment, dude, even to this day, I still get goosebumps when I hear that ending scream. It's amazing. I wish I had a voice like that. To me, easy prime cut, making the ultimate Gen X rockin' mixtape playlist.
All right, I have a few things kind of similar to you, but I Remember You is the third single for the album. It reached number 6 on the U.S. Billboard 100, and both Bolin and Sabo did not want to include this song on the album because girls loved it, and they did not want to be known as a chick band.
Oh, come on.
Yeah. You don't want girls coming to see your show?
Yeah, that's a stupid reason. Okay. I don't understand that reasoning.
That's like tie with the reason why I go to see these bands play. That's like very close to my favorite part of the show is just seeing these hot chicks at the show.
In the skin-tight jeans and spandex.
You know what? They could be wearing anything as long as they're hot, but they were overruled by Sebastian Bach and the recording company. Thank God, because this is one of the greatest power ballads of the 80s.
Absolutely.
And kind of like you said, I'm going to say it a little differently, but I would give my right and left testicles just to be able to sing this song just like this, just one time.
Well, Dirty Jim's going to become a eunuch just to sing the song.
Yeah, but, I got to say, you got something special there, Mr. Bach. It is a prime cut for me.
Wow, yes.
All right, let's move down to the last track of the album, which is kind of a split track. It's called Midnight/Tornado, track number 11. Okay, track number 11, Midnight. I guess we'll call it /Tornado. And this really is, wouldn't you agree, this is basically two songs put together?
Yeah, I mean, the end part is essentially just instrumental to kind of end the album.
Right. It really, I mean, I would not have minded if they just made Tornado track number 12. I probably would have fluff cutted it, but this is by no means, I'm going to just call this Midnight, but this is by no means an end of the album like filler.
Right.
It rocks from start to almost finish because, then it comes into the tornado part. This song should have ended at 3 minutes and 23 seconds when it fades out. Then that whole new thing starts up as if it's an intro to a new song. And it is a pretty good intro when it kicks into Tornado.
Right.
It actually makes you want to hear more of what they could have done with that song if it was completed in its entirety. That's actually my only complaint about Midnight Tornado. It should have ended at the first fade, but even with all that, it's still a solid prime cut for me.
Okay, for me, Midnight Tornado. So to me, this is a nice way to end the album, especially after a power ballad. So you have a really cool guitar solo, there's melodic dual guitar harmonies, and Dirty Jim, I don't know if you noticed, but in the chorus, which they sing, "When the clock strikes midnight," it reminded me of the band Wild Side.
Okay.
Because they have a song called Clock Strikes. And I don't know if you remember that song, but for you guys out there who don't know, Wild Side is probably the best unknown heavy glam band out there. The music masses out there have no clue who Wild Side is. I mean, people who are really into hard rock, heavy metal, whatever, they know who Wild Side is, but for the most part, people have no clue. But the thing is, by the time Wild Side, they released their debut album in 1992, even though they formed in the late 80s, they missed their window of opportunity since Nirvana, Pearl Jam, and whatever. They overpowered the music scene. But they had that song called Clock Strikes, and to me is a much better song than this song, and it's catchier too. But this track, getting back to Midnight, I love this track. I think it's a really cool song. It's not prime cut worthy, but it is a solid deep cut, and it's also making the playlist.
So that is every song on this album making the playlist.
Oh my God. Yes, every single song.
You know what I feel like doing right now, Hollywood?
What do you feel like? What do you do?
I feel like giving more to the people. We're done with, we did the whole album, 11 tracks. We added all of these songs to the GTFO GenX blah, 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 blah playlist. I want to give them a little more.
Okay.
I want to give them what you might call a bonus.
Do it.
Now, there was a track that Skid Row released on March 25th, 2022 with the new vocalist, Is it Eric Gronwall?
Yes, yeah, Eric Gronwall. He's from Sweden.
Okay, and Skid Row has a new album coming out in October with their new vocalist. And I just want to review one little song from that album called The Gang's All Here. And I'd like to know what you think about it.
All right, do it.
I want to know what you think about it. I don't know if you missed that. Yeah, I don't know if you missed that part.
No, I thought you were going to go first.
No, I said I want to know what you think about it. So what does that mean to you? Does that mean I'm going to tell you first? No, that means I want to know what you think about it. Hollywood, get with the program.
All right, The Gang's All Here. To me, I heard the song and I dig it. I think it's cool. His voice, wow. I mean, he's got it sounds a lot like Sebastian Bach. A little bit a different intonation, but he has a strong, solid voice. I watched videos of him on YouTube, and he goes back to, he started out trying to get on, not American Idol, but the Swedish version. I mean, Idol it's in all different countries. So he went to, when he was living in Sweden, that's where he got on the show, and he auditioned singing Skid Row. And he sang all the way in the competition, and he won. And just an amazing singer. The song, I think, is really cool. It sounds very 80s, and it stays right within the realm of what we would have done, again, on the Lipstick and Leather podcast. To me, I dig the song. It's a prime cut.
I agree with everything you said. The only thing I would add is that the chorus is kind of pretty basic, but the song as a whole is excellent, and it is also a prime cut for me. Let's throw it on this playlist, and even when we come to the album, maybe we'll put it on there twice.
All right. All right, Dirty Jim. So that does it for our album review of the 1989 self-titled debut of Skid Row. And you know what? I think Skid Row did a great job on the placement of the songs on the track listing. If you go through the track listing, you're like, there's heavy songs, and then there's prime cuts, and some that are a little bit more filler, but still great stuff. And even all the way down to having I Remember You as the second to last track, and it's such a popular song. I enjoyed the album from track to track to track. As a whole, I think it's a great album.
Nothing made me want to skip to the next song.
Yeah, neither did I. I felt the same exact way. So that does it for our review. Dirty Jim, why don't you mention our companion episode as well as what amazing music we're going to be reviewing next time?
All right. So after listening to this, if you have not done it, go listen to the companion episode, which is Billy Squier's 1981 album, Don't Say No. And then about 15 days from now, you're going to be hearing us talk about the Styx 1977 album, The Grand Illusion, and Judas Priest, British Steel from 1980.
Priest, 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 priest.
Oh, yeah!
Oh, yeah! All right, guys. So we appreciate you listening to our podcast. Go ahead, hit the subscribe button, please, so you can be notified when new episodes are released on the 1st and the 15th of the month. And feel free to send us an email with comments or suggestions. You want to send it to getthefluffouttpodcast@gmail.com, or just go right to our social media channels on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. Do a search for us at Get the Fluff Out Podcast, and you'll find us. Or you can go directly to our website, www.getthefluffouttpodcast.com.
All right, and some of our sound effects were found on a site called zapsplat.com, zapsplat.com. And our intro music was found on a site called looperman.com. And it was a mix of two loops. The first one was a drum loop from HP Records called Vintage Kit 2. And the second was a guitar loop from Geomoon called Groovy Rock Guitars Loop Riff.
And then the final outro music is a song called Elysian Fields by our band, Forced Entry, from 1988. That was on our debut EP, Dirty Jim.
Our only EP, Hollywood.
Our only copy written by Hollywood and Dirty Jim. So there you go. So that's it. So we want to thank everyone for carving out some time in your busy schedule to listen to the Get the Fluff Out podcast and to get a little Gen X nostalgic with us. So with that being said, Dirty Jim, we just got the fluff out.
Tell me something I don't know.